If we can't sustain our own population from within, let's go out into the world and bring in immigrants from other countries. And ideally, you want to do this at a certain stage of life. If we're suffering from a growing proportion of old people and a shrinking proportion of working age people to support the old people, ideally we want to bring in immigrants directly into that working population. We want them to come in and immediately become productive members of our society and immediately start producing value for our society and paying taxes to support all those old people. There's a certain kind of immigrant you want, which is someone with the skills that your country needs, working skills that your country needs. They should already speak your language, because if they don't, they're going to have to take years to learn the language. And they should already be open to assimilation. They should already understand your culture enough to be assimilated quickly. You have to bring in those skilled, educated, well-equipped immigrants from other countries, and unfortunately there's not an unlimited supply of those. The United States is very well equipped to attract high-quality immigrants. It's always been a nation of immigrants, and it's seen as attractive by immigrants, so it can pick and choose who's going to come into the country. And to a certain extent, Northern Europe has that same privilege. But before you can even get to that point where you're trying to attract immigration, you as a country have to want immigration. And that's a big question mark. Even in America, that's a big question mark, because there's a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment in these developed countries. And in many of the countries of the world, the developed world, they've never had immigrants at all. They have no experience with immigrants. They don't have a clue about how to select or assimilate immigrants. I'm thinking of Japan. It has never had much immigration coming in because it's just not part of their culture. And imagine the language problems alone with Japan. They can't take in immigrants because an immigrant would have to learn Japanese before he could ever become a working member of the population. And there are a lot of countries like that. Japan, China isn't open to immigration. Although immigration may be something of a solution to America and developed Europe, it's not a solution to most of the rest of the world. They just have to deal with their own fertility rate and accept it as it is. But even in America, the solution doesn't look so rosy, because America is going to need a lot of immigrants. I mean, a lot, millions of immigrants, to address its baby boom problem. The fact that the baby boomers are retiring, and proportionally the working age population is shrinking, so the working age population can't support the retired population. So to address that, you've got to bring in a lot of immigrants, way more immigrants than we've ever brought in the past, and America has to get into that mindset of wanting immigrants. And I don't think it's there yet. I think it's a long way off of actually wanting immigrants and being open to enough immigrants coming in. And secondly, you have the problem of there not being enough skilled immigrants and assimilatable immigrants in the world today. America has an advantage. It can attract skilled immigrants better than Poland can and Romania can and probably a lot of Europe. But it is a question about whether there's enough immigrants out there even to serve our needs. So immigration is the obvious solution, and we've always assumed that there would be a limited supply of it. And I don't think you can assume that anymore. I don't think that America can count on immigration as solving its problems.